Hello, everyone. My name is William from 222 Productions here in Greensboro, home of the National Ninja League Season 5 World Championship. And I have been waiting to say this for a while now, but joining me this time is a man who knows how to get hard. He is Adam Rayl. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, sir. How are you, man? Nice to be here. It's a pleasure to be back and to have the opportunity to defend the title from last year.
Yes, that's right. For those of you unaware, he is the reigning, defending National Ninja League World Champion. Let's just talk about last year's course. It was obviously a bit challenging, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that you were the only person to reach the third stage?
I mean, yes and no. It was definitely a challenging course. It was from the mind of Drew Dressel, largely, or at least in part. And he's got an interesting mind, in particularly when it comes to ninja. I've seen that guy design courses that, will shut just about 99% of people down in the gym just training. And this course was not that hard, but it was definitely hard. It was tricky. I think the obstacles that kind of people got hung up on were timing. They were very timing focused. And in open play afterwards, I saw a lot of guys go through and they had failed on their one chance, their one shot while competing, but they went through in open play afterwards and they were able to do it. So I think sometimes something that we see happen a lot of times is people will get in their heads a little bit and they'll see failures, and that effect starts to compound, and the more it happens, the more people get in their heads collectively as a group. And I think we saw that effect largely at play last year. That said, it was a tricky obstacle, but fortunately for me, I had no trouble getting through my first time. Some of that's skill, some of that's luck.
That was a very good answer. So I want to talk a little bit about this past season of American Ninja Warrior. Mm-hmm. Let's start with LA. One of the common themes we saw this past season was the blind catch obstacle. And you were unfortunately one of the people who were caught up by that type of catch. Indeed. What makes that blind catch so tricky for people?
Well, maybe a couple of elements. So yeah, it took me out. It was one of the last obstacles in LA finals. Primarily you can't see what's coming, right? So it's a bit of guesswork. You certainly get the rules walked through and you can kind of watch from the side of the course, and producers will walk you through and tell you what's going to happen. But if you don't see a lot of guys run it, you just don't have a chance to gather proper beta and to really know what you want to do. That said, also, it was an obstacle that not a lot of us had seen. Certainly that element of a reverse blind catch, which we saw in a couple of different places throughout the season last year. But I was just ill-equipped because A, I had never been on it, and B, I think even for that type of obstacle, no matter how many times you try it, given that you can't see what you're catching, it's always going to be problematic from time to time. So I was surprised to see as many people get through it as did. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of the ones to have had that success, but it was enough to progress onwards and ultimately take third place.
All right. So, moving a little forward, we got. Let's talk a little bit about Stage 2. You finally beat Stage 2 on American Ninja Warrior this past season. In your mind, how did so many people clear that stage this past season? What were the biggest differences between past Stage 2s and this Stage 2? I
would say the first one that jumps straight away to my mind is the foot pegs resting after the salmon ladder. I don't know if the audience would have seen that. Certainly Ninja fans would have noticed that detail. But it was certainly made easier. It was dumbed down a little bit, for lack of a better term. The producers wanted people to get to Stage 3, right? They wanted to battle, and they ended up getting one. But they got a lot of people on Stage 3, more so than I think they anticipated, and that any of the competitors expected. But it was definitely made for a different, sort of exciting season. I'm kind of thankful it happened because we got to see people's skill level on Stage 3 in a much bigger way than we normally are used to.
Right. So moving on to Stage 3, you were the closest to clearing without actually clearing. I have to know, what happened when you were trying to dismount Cane Lane? Because you were there and then you weren't. Like, what was going on?
Yeah, it's not a very complex answer. I'll keep it simple for you, man. I got super pumped. I was maybe the most pumped I've ever been in my life. I wanted it so bad. You got guys like Drew Dressel and Daniel Gill clearing the stage, and those, in my mind, are a couple of the top competitors in the world, like bar none. So it was an honor to be in close proximity, results-wise, to what those guys are capable of. Mm-hmm. But since then, I've been training hard, and I expect I'll come back in full force, even stronger than before.
Mm-hmm. So touch up on the show a little bit more. A few times now in the past, the show has kind of labeled you as one of the favorites to win. I know Eisman has definitely mentioned that a few times. With that sort of praise from the show directly, does that put more pressure on you when you compete, or is it just like whatever?
Good question. I try not to to have the most effective competitor mindset for me ever since gymnastics. I try not to pay attention to outside pressures. That's easier said than done, and I'm certainly human, and what people think and what people expect and the level to which they put you up on a pedestal certainly can creep into the mindset and influence one's performance. But my game plan is always to try to transcend those influences and those factors as much as I can and just keep a clean, fresh perspective, be able to breathe, be in my body, be aware of myself, the course, and really not much else, not the audience, not the pressure, not the fans, not the expectations. But it's definitely an honor. I mean, it's a big time honor to have Matt Eisman, kind of hold me up in that regard. And if anything, I'd like to think that I'm able to use that as a motivating influence.
All right. So I asked this to everyone. Did you apply for this season?
Yes, I did.
Did you get a call yet?
Am I allowed to say?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So let's just say you did get a call. How prepared are you for this upcoming season compared to last year?
Very motivated, mentally very prepared. I had a little bit of some issue with the body, some tendinosis, some overuse injury in the elbows that I've been dealing with recently. So that's certainly an obstacle I've been facing in the off season. I think once I get through that, which I'm very close to at this point in time, I'll catch up to where I'm at mentally. And when those two elements sort of coincide, I think I'll be back on track with where I need to be.
All right. One final question. We're getting ready to compete in the National Ninja League World Championship. Well, you are, not me. Will you go back-to-back this year?
Hey, no promises, but I promise I'll do my best. I'll give it my strongest attempt, and we'll see how it plays. That's all I got.
All right. Well, we'll certainly look forward to seeing how you do, and thank you very much for joining me here. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And we'll make sure you all subscribe and follow Adam on all his social media. Links in the description down below. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
Every time I do these interviews, there's a 50% chance a ninja will do a fancy exit on me.